Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Alright everybody, hope you're all doing fantastic and of course you're all having a great weekend. Now, the IBF have finally released their new rankings. Yeah, I know, happy days, right? They've finally done it, they're the last to do it, better late than never. Of course, in this video we'll talk about the heavyweight division. I've already covered the other sanctioning bodies for the month of September. So go check out those ones if you haven't seen them already to see the changes. And if you are new to this channel, firstly, welcome. Please click that subscribe button, turn it from red to grey. It's free, you'll love it over here. Even if you only watch the ranking videos, you'll learn so much. I do each and every month. A lot of other people do as well. We get to talk about fighters that won't normally feature in people's videos, including my own. So make sure you are subscribed. You become a hardcore boxing fan very, very quickly. Nobody else here on YouTube does these videos. Click that subscribe button. Do it right now. I'll come get you. Anyway, the IBF rankings for the heavyweight division for the month of September goes as follows. Oleksandr Usyk is the IBF World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, he's unified champion, WBA, WBO and IBO as well as. Number 1 is Filip Hrgovic, the new IBF mandatory challenger. Number 2 is vacant, and for those of you who don't know why that would be vacant, I'll explain in a minute. Number 3, fresh insert, Ruiz Jr. Number 4, Anthony Joshua. Number 5, Martin Bakole. Number 6, Ajit Cabiel. Number 7, Frank Sanchez. Number 8, Tony Yoka. Number 9, Dillian Whyte. Number 10, Otto Wallin. Number 11, Murat Gassiev. Number 12, Charles Martin. Number 13, Zhilei Zhang. Number 14, Luis Ortiz. And number 15, Dempsey McKean. So that is a new top 15 for the month of September for the IBF. Dropped out this month is Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker. Of course, they'll be fighting tonight, or depending on when you watch this video, the fight may have already happened. So the reason that they've been dropped is because they're going the WBO route. They're fighting for the WBO mandatory position and, of course, WBO Interim World Heavyweight Championship. Okay, so that's them two dropped out for this month for the IBF. We'll start off with the fresh inserts. Number 3, Ruiz Jr. Of course, he had a very easy night's work against Luis Ortiz last time out. Dropped Luis Ortiz multiple times. Yes, he did lose some rounds to Ortiz, but again, that was a case of Ruiz Jr. Firstly, he knew he was going to be winning the fight quite comfortably anyway. And of course, he was maintaining his gas tank. He'd been out the ring for quite some time, so he took some rounds off. I think that's pretty obvious to everybody, okay? So he's done very, very well. Now he's going to be taking on the winner, as per the order from the WBC, of Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius, which takes place on October the 15th in New York City. So we have to wait and see who fights or wins that one for who Ruiz Jr. Takes on next. Other insert from Mother Russia, number 11, Murat Gassiev. Murat Gassiev, very, very inactive fighter. Of course, he's up to this point pretty much been a career cruiserweight. Of course, he's been former, I think he's WBA and maybe IBF, I think it was. WBA and IBF, I think it was. Cruiserweight world champion. Of course, he lost those belts to Oleksandr Usyk when Oleksandr Usyk became the undisputed cruiserweight world champion in the World Boxing Super Series final, if you remember that one. So Murat Gassiev, he's been very, very inactive. He's been very unlucky with injuries. He's a very good fighter, of course, big puncher, very good boxer in that as well. Hasn't fought for a long, long time until quite recently. Only a few weeks ago, he fought some American who I've never heard of, and he beat him quite comfortably. I don't know if Murat Gassiev, is he still training over at Big Bear with Abel Sanchez? Is that right? I don't know if he still is or what. But either way, that's his first fight in over a year. Okay, so he's now back to winning ways. Hopefully we'll get to see Murat Gassiev fight somebody here in the top 15. So for him to be ranked in the top 15 after fighting somewhat of a journeyman, if you like, that American who I've forgotten his name, is it Welch or something like that? I've forgotten. But hopefully his next fight will prove why he should be in the top 15. Number 11, a little bit high. I think so at this time, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe that position will be justified going forward. King Kong, Luis Ortiz, number 14. So he drops by 12 positions. Now, firstly, I don't think he should be ranked in the IBF anyway. He turned down a fight with Filip Hrgovic for the IBF mandatory position. In my opinion, and I'm sure with a lot of your opinions as well, you turn down an eliminator, you should be dropped from the rankings. He wasn't. But he got around it because he claimed that he wasn't turning it down because he didn't want the fight. He turned it down because he was injured and wasn't going to be ready. Of course. But anyway, he's down to number 14, dropped a whole 12 positions, which is how I said about a minute or two ago about Andy Ruiz Jr. The number 2 position, vacant. Now, the reason why that's vacant is because the IBF, unlike the other sanctioning bodies, they like to have eliminators to earn the mandatory position and the number 1 position. So even though it says number 2, which is vacant, effectively it's the number 1. Because Filip Hrgovic is now the new IBF mandatory challenger. Should he be? A lot of people feel Zhilei Zhang won that fight and got jobbed. But even so, officially, Filip Hrgovic, he won that fight. Now he's at IBF mandatory. So he's kind of out of the rankings from one perspective. So number 2 is really the new number 1. So they're going to have some kind of eliminator to be the number 1. And then that person will then go into another final eliminator to, at some point, replace Filip Hrgovic when Filip Hrgovic gets his IBF mandatory world title shot, if that makes sense. So that's why that's vacant. That's why they do it. So at the minute, on the current rankings, it'll be Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua, part 3. That would solidify the new number 1 position currently on the new rankings. Okay? Unlikely that that's going to be what's happening, as that number 1 position, that vacant position, is not going to be fulfilled for quite some time. There's no need for it. Mark McCauley, he's been moved up 2 positions. Of course, last time we fought was a one-sided beatdown of Tony Yoka. He hasn't had a fight since. Hopefully Mark McCauley announces an opponent soon. Hopefully it's a good one. It'd be nice if somebody in the top 15 here. Personally, I'd like to see Mark McCauley take on a Murat Gassiev, take on a Ajit Kabiel or a Frank Sanchez or a Dillian Whyte. However, okay, I'd like to see him fight somebody within the top 15. I really would. I think Mark McCauley is looking real good lately, and that win over Tony Yoka certainly impressed me, so big up to Mark McCauley. Number 6, Ajit Kabiel, one of the most inactive fighters in the heavyweight division. He's had 22 fights, but he's been pro for quite some time. Former European heavyweight champion, of course. Vacated the belt, or was he stripped? I forget which one it was, when he turned down a ordered defense against Joe Joyce. Okay, so that's how he lost that belt. But Ajit Kabiel, there is rumours that he could be fighting Daniel Dubois for the WBA regular world heavyweight championship if they can't get the Dillian Whyte fight over the line for Daniel Dubois. So Ajit Kabiel is apparently being touted there, although he could be a Tyson Fury opponent as well if, again, the Anthony Joshua fight doesn't happen. But again, unlikely. I think that if the Anthony Joshua fight doesn't happen for Tyson Fury, he's probably going to be fighting Manuel Char. Yeah. Other than that, no great changes. Most people have been moved up by 2 positions. And I think a lot of that is because of the 2 dropouts, as in Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker. So that's why a lot of people have been bumped up like 2 positions. Of course, Luis Ortiz is being dropped down by 12 positions. So again, that moves quite a few people up, if that makes sense. So other than that, no great changes. I mean, what do I think of the rankings? I mean, I'm not overly fussed by them. I mean, they're okay. They are okay. I think that you could insert a couple of people in there that would make it a little bit more substantial, if you like. Maybe Arsenbek Makhmadov. I think arguably he should be in there, and of course quite a few others. Maybe a Derek Chisora. Of course, he's on a victory over Kubrat Pulev, who's always been ranked quite highly with the IBF. But again, the IBF, they are one of these sanctioning bodies that you kind of petition for rankings, if that makes sense. Only a couple of months ago, Cash Ali was in at number 11, if I remember rightly. But then, of course, he was dropped the following month for reasons unbeknown to me. So, Dempsey McKean, he's, of course, making a new appearance, if you like, in the top 15. Well, he was number 13, sorry, last month, but now he's down to number 15. So he's right on the edge of potentially getting dropped out, but he's going to be fighting on the DAZN card in Australia soon, correct? I don't know who it is he's fighting. I did see something, but I've forgotten the name. So we'll have to wait and find out for sure as to who Dempsey McKean's going to be fighting. He's still training at the Matchroom gym, I believe, with Tony Sims. So, yeah, fights coming up in this top 15. Nobody. I don't see... Well, Anthony Joshua, of course, number 4. Again, he's maintained his position. He hasn't moved up or down, even though he lost to Oleksandr Usyk. So he maintains his number 4 position. Hopefully, again, depending on how you look at it, hopefully he goes and fights Tyson Fury next. That seems to be what's going to be happening. But other than that, nobody else had the fight penciled in. As I said, number 9, Dillian Whyte. Potentially, he could still be fighting Daniel Dubois. But again, I don't quite know what the hold-up is. I'm hearing it's a money issue, or I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it is. Zhilei Zhang, number 13. Now, he's been moved up by 2 positions. But again, he did fight for the IBF mandatory. He shouldn't have really fought for the IBF mandatory because, again, he was right the way down. He was in the number 15 position when he fought Filip Hrgovic. But that's because everybody else above turned down the fight for Filip Hrgovic, who was there at the time when the fights were offered, of course. Obviously, there's been quite a few changes here and there. But anyway, other than that, yeah, so a few changes. Overall, not bad. Not bad. As I said, I probably would insert 1 or 2 other people over some other ones right there. But anyway, I have to wait and see what happens next month. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.